Hi, friends. Thanks so much for joining us today, March 20. This is a amazing journey for me, connecting with people all over the world in heartful living. And today is actually going to be our final session. We had scheduled for 27th March as the eighth session. If we are able to squeeze both in today, we'll do that because next week I'm traveling. I'm not sure about internet access. So we'll get started. We'll have half an hour for our first session with several speakers within that half an hour. And then that's about real life transformative experiences. And the last half an hour, we'll focus on are we really having fun with life? So that is the true essence of heartful living. So we'll go ahead and get started. First off, we had a few people who wanted to say hi to us about their own journey within the last few weeks of participating in our program. Does anyone uh, want to go first?
Hi, Dr. Chaklinga. Um, I'm Denise Andrews, and I've been, since 2 days before I started watching your program, I started fasting, bad word, fasting. But I have found it's been amazing. Um, I was already a happy person and smiled a lot. So that was just reinforcement from you, and I appreciate that. Um, I have found that now that I'm not eating the snacks, the sugars, the things that aren't good for you, the processed foods. Um, I'm doing better. I have more energy. My blood sugar has dropped to the
What
point
level to what level?
um, I would get
Roughly
up in
on
the
average.
I would get up in the mornings at night and test my blood in the morning, and it'd be in the 140s on Janumet. I am now in the anywhere between 97 and the highest it's been was 127 off Janumet. So I'm keeping a close eye on my blood sugar because I know I have to be careful to not let it go to hypoglycemia. So all during the day, I test my blood now, which I've never done before. But the energy, it's not putting one foot in front of the other to get things done. It's I get up and I do them.
Excellent, Denise.
I
We've been meaning to talk a little bit more about your specific situation, but as far as I remember, you already have been seeing a cardiologist and then a
Oh yes,
heart failure specialist in Florida, and she's the one who recommended that you join our program, correct?
yes,
Can
Dr.
you tell us a
Simone
little?
Nader.
Yeah, she's an amazing
Oh, she
heart
told me
failure
to tell you
expert.
hello.
Now, what heart diagnosis do you have, Denise?
High blood pressure, um, bradycardia, the high cholesterol.
And did Dr. Nadar also diagnose you with the diastolic heart failure?
No, no, I do not have any type, to my knowledge, heart failure problems, but my blood pressure is, it's really doing very well.
Excellent.
Um, I'm just doing better all round. My whole being is, it's just doing better
People are
because I've
clapping
never
for you,
been
Denise.
energetic.
Tell
Yeah,
us
I've never been in.
in the last few weeks, what is the food? I mean, how often are you eating now compared to how much
Once a
are you?
day,
You're eating only
once a
once a day.
day. Yes, sir. Um, Now there's been a couple of times that I've, because we've gone out to eat. Matter of fact, my husband and I met someone and we ate breakfast together. I had a little half a bowl of strawberries. I didn't feel like I was being bad. So, but normally I eat once a day between 2 to 6 from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And I kind of eat over about a 2 hour period. I eat a meal, which usually, and I've cut back on meat drastically. Me and the dog and I share the meat. Um, but I eat string beans. I eat fresh fruit. And I eat things that are pretty much good for me. I still have a sweet every so often. Um, but other than that, that's what I eat. But I don't cheat. If I get hungry, I drink water. And it's almost like being in school when you know that you can't get home. When you get home, you get to eat. Well, I feel like I'm in school all day long, and come 2 o'clock, I get to go home and eat. And that's how I do it. It's like, I'll get to the food later on, and the hunger pangs pass. They're never horrible. And I feel very blessed that I'm able to do this.
So you have learned all the aspects of what we are teaching. I'm so,
Yes,
so glad and proud of what you're doing. And you are
yes,
inspiring so many people today when you say, despite years of hypertension and heart rhythm issues, now that
yes,
you're having more energy, and then feeling that connection
yes.
with life itself. Thanks so much, Dan. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Leji,
Good morning, everybody. I am Leji. I am a nurse by profession. Our team in Atlanta, VA, and Dr. Chakalingam's team, we are collaborating. But I personally wanted to share my high life journey. I am a healthy individual. I consider myself active. I am not on any medication. I think I lead a healthy life. But after being in the high life journey, I thought of skipping a meal. I am a big breakfast person. Like when I wake up from my bed, I only think about breakfast. But I skipped my breakfast last week. It started for a religious reason. And in my mind, I was contemplating about how bad my day is gonna be. But contrary to my belief, it turned out really well. I had no issues. I have an office on 4th floor. So on all the days I fasted, I decided to climb up to the 4th floor, took stairs. I didn't faint. I had no issues. And after it was time for me to eat lunch, I naturally craved for something fresh, like delicious fruits and vegetables. So the first day I realized I wanted salad. The second day I prepared a colorful salad for me. And when I was ready to eat it, I had like a big smile on my face because that's exactly what I wanted. There was so much joy when I was eating it, and it really made me happy. I'm not sure if I was full or not, but it was a happy meal for me.
excellent, Leji. Being a healthcare provider, working in the VA system, your journey in the last few weeks is going to inspire 1,000 people. Thanks so much for joining us. I have a few slides and we'll get started. Hello, friends. Let's start with some real life transforming experiences. So this is our 7th meeting, and today we'll try to complete our 8th session as well. So I just looked this up to see how much the glucose variations happen at the individual level. And this is by the CDC, where just losing some sleep, dehydration, and any pain or stress can increase our blood sugar levels even without food. So this is something to keep in mind. This very interesting study connects low back pain, where the risk of diabetes goes up 30%. So pain is a concern, and all these things are interrelated. This is a paper that we just published. Looking back at 100 years of the diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, we want people to recognize many of them actually have overweight hyperglycemia for several decades before they have true pancreatic insufficiency and insulin deficiency, which would be the advanced type 2 diabetes. So what I mean by this is, because of our sedentary lifestyle, unhealthy diet, and mental stress, we gain weight and directly develop hyperglycemia. So this hyperglycemia, when we address it with lifestyle, we can aim for a complete remission, cure. And myself, I am an example of this. Growing up in South India, I loved rice. I ate more rice than I was working out. So that rice load was causing sugar levels to go up for me in my early 30s. Now I'm nearly 50, and I'm not yet needing any medicines for blood sugar elevation. So if I was managed as diabetic or pre-diabetic with medicines, it would mean lifelong we are controlling end organ damage, but not reversing the process. So this is a controversial paper that redefines type 2 diabetes. It just got accepted and should be out very soon. This concept that many diabetics can wait till they normalize their body weight before needing medicines. This is another concept that we have known now for 2 decades. Only 10% of an individual's health is with the medical system, drugs, procedures, surgeries, doctors, everything put together is only 10%. 90% of an individual's health is outside the medical healthcare system. So this is the sobering reality where environment, mental stress, genetics, all these things contribute to 90% of our health. At Heartful Living, we do more than delivering the optimal cardiac care. This busy slide, what we want people to recognize is just the excess weight can cause diastolic heart failure or heart failure with preserved ejection fraction for people below the age of 70 years. So if the BMI and age exceeds 100, there is a high likelihood that the heart is feeling the stress of the excess weight. So this is independent of hypertension or other things. So if people below the age of 70 have already had this number of age and BMI reaching 100, please talk to your doctor and say, I need a little more testing on my heart, maybe an echocardiogram or a stress test to ensure my heart is in good shape. So this is more like a public message. And the other thing is people from India, age and BMI, if it exceeds 90, then the risk of heart failure is already established. So we have to be even more careful if we are from India. This patient was hospitalized with advanced diastolic heart failure at the age of 27 because his BMI was 72. So adding the 2, it was at 99. This meant he was in the ICU, intubated, couldn't breathe, lungs were flooded with fluid. He was struggling for his life with a heart attack, kidney failure, and brain being affected. And within a few months, this is what he has done with our digital program. He has lost 30% of his weight, and he is feeling 40 years younger. You may ask, how can a 27-year-old feel 40 years younger? That happens if people are unhealthy. And he is now finally taken up a full-time job and feeling so confident about his health overall. So this is some of the data that we have gathered with our Heartful Living patients, where the important thing is people are losing 25% of their weight, even though they are in their 60s, and the heart is getting stronger within 2 years of follow-up. And this is a cardiology postgraduate. He's going to graduate and work as a cardiologist in the next 3 months. And his age is only 31, but heart calculates out at 37. And within 4 months of being in our program, his blood pressure has come down, his weight has come down by 50 pounds, and his energy level that Denise and Leji are talking about, that's what we call Uvagai, the energy of life. He's feeling that go up from 3 all the way to 9 out of 10 by practicing our intuitive eating methods and exercise and everything he does. So now we'll shift gears and we'll invite some of our friends from all over the world to present some of their material. Anu or Professor Chokalingam, if you are ready, you could go, sir. You can share slides and talk. You're still muted. You're still muted.
Give me just 1 second, I'll get my slides ready.
So Professor Chokalingam,
Go ahead.
is going to be our speaker. He comes to us from Canada. He has done so much work in global health. He is the founding director of the NIH Global Health Initiative, and he is conducting the World Congress on Non-Communicable Disease. He's done this for several years, and he started the Hypertension Day, which everywhere globally people are recognizing and paying attention to. And it's a privilege for us to have him come and talk to us and share some of his personal experiences with our Heartful Living journey that he has also participated for the last few weeks. Thanks so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Anand. It is an absolute pleasure to be with all of you. I have been making myself available for every single Monday for the last 7 weeks. And I hope I can continue to work with all of you as we go along. Let me just turn on my slides and allow me to share. Will you be able to allow me to share, please?
You should be able to, sir.
I do.
I request everyone else to mute yourself.
So let me ask all of you, how are you feeling right now? Good. So you're happy? Are you excited? Are you confused? Or are you bored? So these are all some of the expressions, some of the emotions that we go through. Can we just pause and think? Why are we feeling that particular emotion? If we observe, we go through hundreds of emotions in our entire day, ranging from being ecstatic, happy, excited, peaceful, calm, and at the same time, on the other side, to be bored, confused, irritated, angry, sad, dejected, pressurized, stressed, and many, many more emotions. But do we ever pause and reflect on how many emotions do we feel in a day? Or when and why does this transition from happiness to sadness happens? The question that we need to ask is our external environment responsible for this, or our internal state of mind that causes? So this is a mindset. So think, the external environment, we don't have any control over. It's going to be raining, it's going to be snowing, you don't have any control over it. But what you can do is you can control your inner mind. And that mindset is entirely ours, and we can easily control. I think that is what Anand is trying to talk for the last 7 weeks. We choose how we respond to a particular stimulus. We choose our mindset, we control our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So we can be either egoistic or we can choose a higher self. So we have got two kinds of mindset, either abundance mindset or scarcity mindset. As an egoistic person, we always live in a victim mentality. Why should this happen to me? Why not others? I see all my friends, they're all thriving, but I'm not able to. Whereas if you are taking the high road, you will say, okay, this happened, so let me be accountable. Is it part of my problem? Have I done something? Can I be a little more realistic? And then I'll come back to the mindset a little later on. And then the egoistic mind will always seize others' mistake. And they don't look at their own mistake. I'm tempted to say about a poem from Thiruvalluvar, Tirukkural, which says, when you are able to see other people's mistake, it's easy. But as long as you know what your mistakes are, then it'll be easy to learn from that and to accommodate that everybody is human being. And we always complain about everything. Why the government is not doing that? why the train is not coming in time. So that is the human mentality. But there are times when things are going well, we should be grateful and find joy in that little moment. So the two kinds of mindsets that we have is scarcity mind and abundance mindset. So this is what it is. In the abundance mind, you believe that there is enough for everyone, whereas the scarcity mind believes that for me to thrive, someone has to be deprived. And as an abundance mindset person, you always seek opportunities rather than looking for excuses. And you want to focus and grow and learn together. I think this group session that we are going through, we are learning from everybody. I think it's just a blessing. So that's the kind of mindset that we want to inculcate, rather than believing that resources are limited, so we need to complete and compete rather than work together. So as long as I want to advance, I don't care about others. I think that is where the me world is coming. And unfortunately, in today's reality, the world is going towards that direction. So how many of you remember the word called huge? I think somewhere in the first or second session, Anand talked about the word called huge. What does it sound? It's standing for HU and then G and then E. So they are hunger, gratitude, and experience. So if you do that, then you will be very happy. Are you able to see the book by Anand?
Yes, sir.
Seeking Hunger. It's a very small book, but very eloquently written. Anand spared me a copy and I had a chance to look at and read it. It's beautifully written. It has got only 15 chapters. Each one is about a couple of pages. So it's not very long. And I would recommend those of you who are in this call, please get a copy of it and go through it. This will emphasize everything what Anand has been telling you for the last 7 weeks or so. And many of you have already changed your lifestyle and you're all feeling better. Nice to hear the success stories. And it is a time for everybody to benefit. So, and he started with one of the Thirukkurals, which I like, which says, அற்றது அறிந்து கடைபிடித்து அல்லது துவர பசித்து, which really means recognize healthy foods and eat mindfully. And the last line is more important, only when you are hungry. See, as a routine, we as human beings in this modern world, we want to have breakfast at say between 8 and 9. We want to have lunch, whether we are hungry or not, 12 to 1. And then we want to have our coffee or break at 4 o'clock. And then we want to go for dinner between say 6 and 8 o'clock. And some of us watch late TVs and we go for midnight snacks. So we are assuming and we are consuming more and more calories, whether we need or not. And we are not hunter-gatherers. We are not spending our energy. We are sitting in front of the computer or in front of the TV. And what do? Watch and eat. No physical activity. So ultimately we gain weight. And I don't have to explain to this group, which has been listening for the last 7 weeks, and are also quite involved about the overweight and obesity. So I'm just going to refer to just 3 chapters in his book. So these are the 15 chapters that he wrote. And one is called Starving versus Fasting. And he argues fasting is healthy, and he talks about hungry mind. I'm going to give one particular example of my own To start with number 13 and 14, as a religious involvement, I used to fast 7 days a week during a particular period in time. Those of you in Tamil Nadu, you will know it's called Thaipusam. So during that time, I used to fast right from the beginning of the Thaipusam till the end of Thaipusam for the 7 days. So my food intake is purely water or tea, which is black tea and no sugar. After the 7th day, I'll break my fast with a banana or a fruit. Then the next day, I'll continue my regular food. So what happens on the first day, you are perfectly normal. You don't feel anything at all. You don't feel that you're hungry or anything because your mindset is that you want to do this 7 days fasting. Because you have got the stored energy from the previous days of eating. So no problem. Second day, you feel a little bit physically tired. Third day, you feel very weak. But if you still continue to do your fasting, on the 4th day, you gain back energy. 5th, 6th day, you have absolutely nothing. You are actually coasting with the abundant energy inside you. So this I personally experienced for 25 years, which I stopped about, say, 10 years ago. So, but it is possible. And after listening to Anand, and he is still motivating me, so I might get back this year, and I might do the 7-day fasting this year. So, and when you're hungry, you must be thinking that the hunger will make you think only about the food. After a day or two, the hunger will give you energy and you will forget about the food, then start thinking about higher things. So there is a definite connect between mind and stomach. And I can go on into connectivity in terms of biochemistry about leptin and so on, but that is for a different day. So this is what Mahatma Gandhi said. The world has enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. Whereas the world that we are in today, unfortunately, has become totally greedy. You see everywhere, the banks are collapsing. The countries are being invaded. Why? Because of somebody's greed, somebody's ego. Somebody wants to become rich at the expense of thousands of people who put the money in the bank, trusting it's going to work. So it is all, your body only a few calories to survive. And you can't eat everything on the world. So with that in mind, we are now hosting the Congress. This is what Anand asked me to say. I'm not going to give a commercial here because Anand asked me to tell something about the Congress that's coming up. I'm forced to say this. So this is the World Conference on Non-Communicable Disease. You all know what is non-communicable diseases are. You heard about heart disease, heart failure, left ventricular diastole, and so on and so forth for the last few days. Yeah, heart disease is one of them. Cancer is another. Third is diabetes, which is very, very common. Fourth is the lung diseases or breathing troubles. And lastly, the mental health. Many people go through mental health. And the case in point is the obesity, which could cause many of these problems. And one of the speakers who came on the second or third week, she showed how much she lost weight and how happy she is. So from mental illness to mental happiness, you go through. I think that's what this conference is going to talk about. And our theme is equitable and sustainable health for all. See, the people who are in the universe, everybody has got a right to have a good health. So we have completely forgotten that. and healthcare has become a commodity, and people make money out of your misfortune. So that needs to change, and we are going to look at from a broader perspective, not looking at single disease perspective, because we are human beings made up of one whole body. We are not talking about heart, we are not talking about mind, we are not talking about brain. They're all together. That's when we are called as human beings. So the Congress is going to happen between June 25 and 30. And I'm delighted that Anand and his group, about 9 or 10 of them, are going to come and share some of their experience on Highlight. And the Congress will address on 6 sub-themes. I'll come to it in a minute. We expect over 500 people, and we already received more than 350 abstracts for presentation and sharing. And we will have 7 plenaries and 42 panel discussions. And the 6 sub-themes are to reduce inequities and impact of NCDs. Why should some people are marginalized? Why the native Indians to whom this land belongs are being chased away? And why are we not protecting them? So the inequities. What about the refugees? It's not that they really want to be refugees. Because of unexpected invasion, undesired calamities that happen to them, like the earthquake. So they become nowhere else to go, they just move somewhere else. And what is this NCD happens only towards the end of your lifetime? No, it happens right from childhood. So throughout the lifespan, let's look at it. And when we look at it as a whole person, and everybody carries 1, 2, or 3 non-communicable diseases, but still living well. So that's what is multi-morbidity, and we are going to work from multidisciplinary point of view. So only the doctors cannot solve the problem. There is an involvement of the engineers, involvement of the traffic regulators. So everybody has got to contribute. And then what are the new research telling us, especially Highlight, is even though it is an age-old concept, we all forgot, and Anand and his team are trying to revive, and they're trying to remind us it's important. What are the different perspectives? What are the policies by different governments? Is the same policy which is working in the US, does it work everywhere else? Or is the policy in US much better than other countries? I'm just going to give you a quick example and then I'll just close it. See, US spends over about, say, $15,000 per person per year for healthcare. And where does it stand in terms of healthcare index, health index? You are standing at 57th in the world rank. Whereas Cuba, which spends only about, say, $10 per person, where does it stand in terms of health index? Number 1. Why? That's the equitable mind. There is no HMO there. So the equity is more important. And then how can we improve governance? Yes, we believe in multilateral institutions. We invest money with multilateral institutions. Are they spending the money in the right way? Are they spending for the right cause? And if you look at it, non-communicable diseases put together are the major cause of death and disability in the world. It accounts for 2/3 of all the deaths and disabilities. If we continue the same path without making any course correction, we need about $470 trillion per year to manage in the world. So I leave it to you. It is for us to make ourselves responsible to change our lifestyle, and let's eat only when we need. I wouldn't preach hungry, but I'll say eat when you need it. And let me close with the last quote from Thiruvalluvar again. செவிக்கு உணவு இல்லாத போது சிறிதளவு வயிற்றுக்கும் ஈயப்படும். Meaning, when you don't have good things to hear, during that time, we will give a little bit to eat. So your energy can be spent in multiple directions that will make you totally elated and happy. Food is not the only thing in life. Okay, with that, let me stop. Thank you for the opportunity, Anand.
Thanks so much, sir. We thoroughly enjoyed your global perspective and how you committed decades of your work and research towards helping people live better equitably throughout the world. Thank you so much.
I'm quite happy to take questions if there is time. Only thing is I've got another meeting at 11 o'clock, my time, which is in about 20 minutes, but I'm going to be here for that 20 minutes.
One question, if someone wants to ask Professor Chokalingam from Toronto. Anybody has a question? You covered in such an amazing overview at the individual level and at the global perspective and ancient wisdom. Thanks so much, sir. Appreciate it. Anu, would you like to tell us about India efforts? Sir, you're still sharing screen.
Yes,
Oh, am I? I'm sorry. I'll just stop sharing. Okay.
Anu, keep it really brief, Anu, because of time.
sure. Let me share my screen.
Can you introduce yourself or do you want me to introduce you? Okay.
Okay, I'll introduce.
Professor Anuradha is head of physiology at Dental College in Chennai. And she has been with us for years, learning and practicing, and not only practicing, she's also building courses for our system in India. So I'll hand it over to her to give us a quick overview of developments in recent years.
Thank you for the opportunity. Good morning and good evening to all. I came to know about Dr. Anand's Heartful Living through my friend, Dr. Smrita, Mrs. Anand. She is my classmate in UG. She only introduced me to sir. After attending his session, it was an amazing session. I was wondering how it is possible. Simple fasting, how can it reverse aging and how it bring back all the complications? I was wondering and started following from the first talk. So this was a few screenshots I took because I was very happy to see each and every slide. So I don't want to miss any. So I took all the slides a screenshot and I'm sharing only few. And so from the first day I started, I tried and started following, but I was able to succeed only after 6 months. Till that I find a lot of difficulties. And after 6 months, it took me 6 months to follow Heartful Living fully. Then on seeing me, my mother-in-law and my husband also, they started following me. My mother-in-law, she attended Tamil session by Dr. Anand and she was totally impressed by his concept and she was following from that day. She was pre-diabetic before attending Dr. Anand session. Without any medicine, she became normal now. So her cholesterol level also decreased and she became normal without any medicines. And my husband, he didn't attend even a single session of Dr. Anand, but by seeing me and my mother-in-law, he got motivated and he started following fasting. Now he's taking only 2 meals a day. He's skipped a breakfast and he's following Dr. Anand. That is, he started walking 2 hours per day and he started trekking from last week. So he is following and the entire family has entered the Heartful Living. Recently, my sister-in-law Hema also has entered. So my entire family is in Heartful Living. So I feel very gratitude for this opportunity, for this thing. Then I want to share this to my patients and also to my students. So for that, I have invited Dr. Anand during the lockdown. So he gave a wonderful talk on the intermittent fasting for heart health. It has reached almost around 350 doctors and medical students and dental students. So from that time, I was invited to talk about heartful living to various medical colleges. So in that way, I was able to spread Dr. Anand's concept of heartful living to various medical students. And December, he came for India for vacation, but he was very busy in giving talk in various institutions and organizations. So I got a chance to invite him to our institution, and he gave a talk on building resilience. It was wonderful, and we had around 500 participants, including medical doctors, dentists, dental students, nursings, and paramedical. All got benefited by this, and few got motivated by this and started following Heartful Living. And at that time, I was honored with the certificate of Fellowship of High Life Self-Inquiry Academy. So I feel very happy for that. So I thought I should do justice for that. So yes, sir, Dr. Anand has got more belief on me, and I am feeling this from inside. So I thought I should do more, and I try to spread things through my friends and my students. I had a chance to talk about heartful living in the International Toastmaster Club in Chennai. So I spoke about that for around half an hour, and they got amazed that they were wondering how simple fasting could reverse diabetes, hypertension, obesity, everything. So it was an amazing experience for me also with interacting the people. And I used to teach yoga in my institution. Now I started teaching heartful living also along with yoga. That has reached many students and professors. And last week, I had a chance to interact with my students, nursing students in my college to talk about heartful living. So it was a wonderful session. I was able to take sir's concept to the students. From them, it has reached their family also. I got many phone inquiry, what is heartful living, how to follow that. And I heard that from my son, from my daughter, that without medicine, you are reversing everything. Then I told it is not my concept, it is by Dr. Anand. If you are interested, I will teach you like that. And these are my friends, Dr. Pravda and Dr. Vidya are with me in Heartful Living for past 2 years, and they are strictly following this. And these are my new colleagues, including medical doctors and nurses. They started Heartful Living from December after Dr. Anand's lecture in our college. So what I learned from Dr. Anand is we should eat to live, not live to eat. So with this, I'll finish. Yan Petri Inpam Peruga Vaiyagam. The thing which I learned from him, I want to spread to the entire world, whatever possible. Now I started in my students also. I'll stop sharing. And so I have added the Heartful Living in my curriculum, and as a part of the subject, I started teaching to the students. They are also very amazed to know this concept. Since they are budding doctors, I thought if I teach them, it will reach more people and it will bring about better society tomorrow. So with this, I'll stop. Thank you, sir.
Amazing, amazing. Thanks so much, Anu, for inspiring people in India. I feel so connected because I'm from Chennai and you are doing the work in Chennai. Although you are originally not, you're from further south, but thanks for spreading
Yes.
all over. We will continue this journey. Thanks so much, Anu. Is
Thanks.
Abhi here from Toronto?
Yeah, I'm here.
We are running late, Abhi, so make it very, very short.
Yes.
You can share screen.
Morning.
Can you introduce yourself, Abhi?
Yeah.
You see your screen.
Great.
This is fine.
This is fine. Yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Abhinaya Nandan, and I hope everyone is doing well. So a little bit about me. I'm a third-year student at the University of Ottawa, and today I just wanted to talk about High Life and the weekly activities that I got to do with other students that have really changed my outlook on life positively. High Life has taught me self-development tools such as gratitude, mindful eating practices, the power of smiling, flow, consciously choosing healthier foods, and much more. It definitely transformed my life in all areas. This was an amazing course I got to do with High Life. It was full of exciting weekly activities and had thought-provoking questions that we got to discuss during each session. So one of the first core aspects that has changed my outlook in life was exercise plus the gratitude activity. All the students in the session were asked to list down the activities that we enjoy doing. It was really cool to learn that when we do a favorite activity that makes us happy, it actually means that we're in the state of flow. So that can include activities such as swimming, running, painting, hiking, dancing, walking, and it's actually all a form of meditation because it helps us to be mindful and connect with our higher consciousness. Also, another part of the exercise required students to talk about how being more grateful changed our week. One of the common things that most students were grateful for was their mothers, who cooked them food with love and compassion, which increased the energy of the food. We learned how important it is to know and be grateful for who's making our food. If someone is happy making the food, that will transfer to our body. High Life has made me change the way I look at home cooked food in comparison to outside food. I've included some screenshots of students' experiences of being more grateful and how being in the state of flow made them feel more focused. And flow is when one is completely concentrated and immersed in their favorite activity. If you take a closer look at the screenshots, we can see students wrote how they felt empowered, it increases energy levels, reduces stress, and you can see another student, Arjun, mentioning how he's grateful for family and appreciative of things we would normally take for granted.
Morning,
So
how are you?
a
Good, good.
great way
Fine, thank you
to
very much.
teach students to approach life with gratitude.
Laddu.
Another core aspect we learned
I'm going to mute everyone.
is
Can you unmute yourself again?
good. Okay. Another core aspect we learned is fasting. High Life has also taught me being a little hungry is a direct gratitude for food. And I really love that advice because the students in the session learn that it's best to eat when the body is hungry to maximize our energy to do the things we enjoy with full alertness and improve our cognitive abilities. I used to snack or eat when I wasn't really hungry. So after High Life, I have implemented fasting in my everyday life as much as I can. And it really has helped me focus in school and become more energized since I'm not feeling lethargic from constantly tiring my digestive system from eating. Now I can use my energy at its fullest potential when I'm fasting, since I'm putting less food in my body. And I even learned fasting is a way of meditating, as I'm aware, more mindful of when I choose to eat. Another core aspect I learned is the power of smiling plus healthier foods. It really helped me when Dr. Anand encouraged us for one of the weekly activities to mindfully capture moments of us being smiling, and an activity trying to avoid unhealthy snacks and foods we would normally eat. It was challenging but rewarding task to test our self-control to avoid eating unhealthy foods. In the screenshots, you can see pictures of unhealthy foods students avoided and then us smiling. This has helped us be more aware and conscious of the foods we put in our bodies and how much more alert and energized we are when we choose to eat more healthier foods. And it was a really fun activity to do and see other students' experience and how we felt more motivated to choose healthier foods after this activity. So after High Life, I try my best to incorporate as many plant-based meals as I can. High Life's core aspects have helped me become more calm and nourished, and that has helped me optimize my health and well-being. So to conclude, I just want to say High Life has helped me recognize traits that I'd like to actively work on for self-development, which will help me succeed in all aspects of my life. And I'm really grateful I got this opportunity to learn all these important ways in improving my life from Dr. Anand. And I also want to thank my uncle Mohan Piripa that I got this opportunity to learn from High Life. Thank you. And if you'd like to contact me, there's my email.
Amazing, amazing, Abhi. Any one quick question for her? She is not dealing with any heart issues. She is a very physically healthy, active student going through college. So it was nervous for me to try and take this programming for a group of students in Canada. But when all of them did so well, and people like Abhi are now becoming Heartful Living coaches within few weeks, it's so, what should I say? I'm so grateful for this type of inner transformation that our program is able to do. Thanks so much, Abhi.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any quick question for Abhi or for Professor Anu? If not, we'll keep going with Dr. Prachi. Are you able to talk to us?
Yes, I am, but unfortunately, I haven't been able to start my video somehow. I've been jumping between different programs, so.
That means people can't see you smiling. She is American College of Lifestyle Medicine's head of a specific group. There are several groups: exercise, cardiology, nutrition. She's Dr. Prachi is the head of happiness and positive psychology group. So that learning that group was available in lifestyle medicine, that's when I became a member last year. So I'm so glad that you're joining us today, Dr. Prachi.
Sure, very briefly, first of all, I wanted to congratulate Abhinay. I mean, she did an amazing job with her team of colleagues at her school, and great testimony. So ours is a similar case, like after you did the presentation there, Dr. Chokalingam, a lot of our team members in the member interest group of happiness and positive psychology, we were already wanting to do a lot of those things, but then a group of us started, making sure that we are making each other laugh and, focus on smiling daily. And then some of us were already practicing gratitude practices. We brought it more to mindful eating and gratitude with eating related in the context of eating. And that has really helped. I have noticed myself that it's much more easier for me to do the intermittent fasting now. Earlier, when I'm an early waker up, so I wake up at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning, and then immediately I used to feel hungry. But now, because of that awareness, now I can delay my breakfast typically till 9:30 or 10 without any issue, just being aware of the slight hunger building up and still being very grateful that there is breakfast waiting for me after several hours. So very, very thankful for that. And I see Mr. Merrill smiling there. And my flow activity is gardening. So, so I do have a little balcony patio garden right now, and I still connect with the universe and let that blessing and that feeling of positivity flow through me whenever I'm in contact with anything in nature. Yeah. So thank you for letting us share that.
You are a true inspiration to all of us. Thanks so much for joining us, Rachi. Meryl, would you like to say something, my friend?
Yes.
Dr.
Everyone has
Kashi
spoken.
introduced us to Meryl
I'm
and gave us the chance to see if we can get him stronger. This is very, very challenging for me because he doesn't live in Missouri. He lives in Oregon. And a bigger challenge than that, he is in his 60s, 70s. I don't want to say the age. He can say if he wishes to, but he is too fit. Some people are like that. He bikes 70 or more miles every week, and he is on the leaner side, so there is no extra weight in his body, but still he wanted to practice our self-inquiry because his heart function has come down. He has a weaker heart. So I'm so glad that you are joining us, Meryl. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, my name is Merrill Smith. Everyone has spoken so eloquently and to the point that I relate so well to what the challenges that people have had. They're so much like my own. When Arun was talking about the foibles that, with eating and compulsions, it's like, oh, he's got my number. I know exactly what that is. I felt so embarrassed that he's looking right inside of me. But I tell you, this intermittent fasting, which I started weeks ago, has really sharpened my awareness of many things. The obvious one is, okay, how much I eat, when I eat, what I eat. I've now taken charge of my eating habits. So I eat twice a day, sometimes once, and I am very careful about what I choose to put in my mouth, because it's going to have to sustain me for the next 16 hours or the next 8 hours. So I'm very careful and conscientious about what I choose to eat. It feels really good making those really healthy choices. I feel good about myself doing that. Now, I've always been lean and active and careful. I've always eaten well for the most part. But hey, like Dr. Anand says, I wouldn't be here unless I had, without having, due to this is just grave kind of heart concern I have now. The intermittent fasting has also brought me some insight into my self-inquiry, which is very much come into focus. And one example of that is after dinner, say at 7 or 8 o'clock, I would be satisfied having eaten, but it wouldn't take too long. Half hour longer, whatever, I start getting uncomfortable. Anxiety would rise in me. I'm going, what is this? Am I hungry? I can't be hungry. I just ate a full meal. But what I would feel is just these emotional angst that I've now, I didn't always have to deal with, because I was always putting something in my mouth to squelch all that. And I did this for years. I've done this for decades. But now that I'm not subduing that or sedating myself with whether it's be food or internet perusing or looking at the news or whatever else I would use to sedate myself, I feel these emotions and they are not comfortable and they are difficult to handle. And it goes on every night and it goes on every year for decades. So I'm inquiring, what is this? Why is this? What can I do? Some of these issues go back to my childhood. Well, what I have learned with the intermittent fasting is, as I have taken charge of what I put in my mouth and making better choices, I have taken that kind of discipline. And now I sit with this anxiety and I sit with these emotions. And of course, when they come into my mind, sometimes I latch onto it. Becomes a big story, but now I'm able to take charge of that better and not let it grip me so much. I let it pass through, and of course it comes back, maybe minutes later, maybe an hour later, maybe not at all, but it keeps revisiting. But I'm taking much more charge, not just with my diet, what I put in my mouth, the negative thoughts, the feelings, the disturbances that visit me, routinely all day long. And all day long, I have been sedating myself with snacks, sugar and salt, and everything in between meals. I could eat anything I want all day long and never get out of fitness. But I don't do that anymore. And now I have 2 meals, maybe 1 meal. I have more energy, even energy through the day, more clarity and more discipline to wrestle with some of these negative, difficult, uncomfortable emotions. That really is the underlying reason for all this excessive eating in the first place, as I understand it. So this High Life business has done me so well, and I appreciate all of your comments. I want to say one more thing. I attend this meeting with a good friend of mine who lives in my town, and we share this this gathering together with everybody. And she's in the meeting today, Barbara. And after these meetings, we would get together and talk about it and share our thoughts, debrief, compare our knowledge of what we know, what our confusions are, clarify things, and what our anxieties are, what our habits are. And I found it so helpful to have a partner in this journey. And I have discovered today that so many are on this same journey. Having spoken up today, I go, I thank you all for sharing all this stuff. I feel very grateful for this. And Prachi, I thank you so much for referring me to this group. I only wish that Murari would be part of this. I could see him more often, but he's got other fish to fry. Thank you all very much.
Amazing, Meryl. We are so proud, and we all pray that your heart gets so strong that for 100 years, there will not be any trouble. But already you're doing so well, and I applaud your self-inquiry and engagement with our program. Thanks, Barbara, for helping Meryl with this. So we are coming to the end of our first meeting. So don't go away. We have another meeting starting right away. So do you see my slides? So I thank the speakers who have taken time to discuss today, and Abhi for sharing the snacks, and the Smiles for not having these snacks from Canada. And this we presented in India. India has 20% of the world's population, but 60% of the heart disease. At the 74th Cardiology Society meeting in Chennai, my hometown, I was one of the 15 international faculty, and the other international faculty are the president of the American College of Cardiology, American Heart Association, and European Heart Association. Everybody applauded our work and feel this does not need more research because we are trying intuitive living and lifestyle. This is not a specific intervention, and we are not doing this versus some other treatment. We are doing this along with every other guideline and evidence-based therapies. So that is where we are rapidly moving forward. And thanks to Professor Arun Chokalingam, we are taking this to Canada in June. And appreciate all of you participating with me.